Definitely winter here in Muskoka. We got probably 6-8 inches of snow here the last couple of weeks, or last week. Zach's loving it because he wants to go snowmobiling. It's the whole cause of every gray hair that I have. Don't really like my boat trailer sitting out in this, but what do you do? Hey guys, what's going on? Mark here. Welcome back to the channel. Did a little change around here. We had Rob's boat there. I'd been in the midst of wiring it and rigging it for him, and we're on hold for a little bit. We were on hold waiting for some parts and whatnot. So we rolled it out, put it in the barn, and took advantage of this time to bring my boat in and get working on the bottom. So my good friend Mike Winstone, who I bought the boat from, and Mike's a great dude, and he's a real good fiberglass guy, and he's real smart with this kind of stuff. So he helped me out. He built up a couple of gantries for me, and we flipped the boat over here out in the laneway, as you'll see in the video, and rolled it inside, and I'm gonna get started here. So a couple of cool things that I wanted to brief on is I kind of wanted to show, like, as you can see, I don't have a very big shop here. This is just my home garage. I think it's 22 by 24, and I own an auto repair shop, but it's too busy. There's too much stuff going on for me to do any of my personal stuff or anything up there, so I try and keep it separate. But I kind of want to show what you can do with very little space or very little resources if you just, have some ambition and some drive. So Mike had built me some homemade gantries, and that we built up in a couple chain falls, and this slick little setup that he had, as you'll see here in the video, to flip the boat over. The gantries all come apart and go aside. They can stay outside, sort of under the lean-to, out around the back, and got the boat on a dolly here, and I'm gonna roll it around in the shop. So, it's just, I always hear the excuse, oh, I don't have room, I don't have time, I don't have the space, don't have the tools. It's not just fucking, you just have to want to do it. So, on the bottom here, we had been bouncing around all kinds of ideas, a bunch of things we were going to try, but I wanted to talk to some guys that had done it. And the one guy that I spoke to a lot, he's known as Laser Ed, races ODBA, and great dude. And he campaigned one of these boats for a number of years and super successful, probably I think the fastest one ever. So I talked to Ed in great depth, and he was super helpful. He was really eager to help me out. He thought my project was cool and liked the fact that I was going to race pro stock with one of these boats. So he was really good at providing information. And so before we did anything, I talked to Ed about the bottom. I'd read stuff about guys racing the pad, this, that, add a lip here, add strakes there. And so I talked to Ed, and Ed says, you know what? He said, dude, you're not going to do anything that I haven't tried. He said, you cannot improve on the bottom of that boat. Make it straight, make it true, fill any holes, and call it a day. Speed coat it or primer it. And flip it back over and run it. So that led to the next challenge. Now we decide, what coating do we use on the bottom? Again, there's all kinds of different theories and different things. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I just tell you, Ed said to me, use a good primer, water sand it to 600, and call it a day. Is there any kind of voodoo slippery stuff to go on the bottom? I'm sure there probably is. We're not going to get into that. The main idea for me was, like I say, to just make sure it's straight and true. And I'm glad we did that. The bottom was actually really, really good. It was better than we anticipated. But Mike did find some holes and stuff in it that he was able to fill and straighten up. So super glad for that. So anyways, check it out here. I'll show you some of the things that we did here. Looks like Mikey's here, getting ready to flip the boat over. I'm just going to set the gantry up and flip it around and put it on the cart, and we can work on the bottom of it. So you'll see here that Mikey had built these gantries for me, and what he did is he has this plate that he made the bolts onto the transom with basically a shaft on it, and there's just a big sling that wraps around it up to the chain fall. And then the chain fall at the front basically just went to the front eye and wrapped around the boat in the direction that you wanted to flip it. So essentially, we started to jack it up, it naturally wants to swing that way. And then just very, very easily and non-aggressively, it just rolled right over nice. And I was really, really happy with the way that kind of laid out. So we got the boat upside down here now, as you can see, and just start to roll the cart in underneath and let it back down onto the cart bottom up. And that was super, super smooth. Mikey did a great job on those, and I'll be keeping those and putting them aside, as I'm sure this isn't going to be the last time we have one of these flipped upside down. So made it very, 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 very simple, and something that you could very easily build at home and do yourself in your laneway. They're actually too tall, of course, to go inside my garage, and that's exactly why we did it in the laneway. So no excuse that it won't fit in the garage. It's you just erect them in the laneway, flip the boat over onto the cart, roll it into the garage, and you're all set. Easy peasy. And then, so that's a big hook in there.
Yeah, yeah.
And then basically you build it up so it's a bit high.
Yeah,
and then we sand it down to flush, and then you do it the opposite way. It's not too
not
bad.
as bad there. It's worse on this side.
Yeah, it's not too bad. How's the outside running streak? Big up there, right? And then this part here. There's probably it starts tapering up there.
It does start to roll up there. Yeah. Now, what about if you go right in here, just sort of?
A huge hump. It's really like I'm a quarter inch up back here.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if that's hull. To me, that should be. What's this one look like? That one's dead nuts.
Yeah.
It's pretty damn close. So yeah, you know, we basically start filling some of these levels up.
Yeah.
So you'll see here, this is the pad section, I guess, of this STV. All our lines were actually relatively straight. Everything was good that way. The one thing that we found here was there was actually about a 3/16 hook here, about an 1/8 here, and probably about another 1/8 here. So those are areas we wanted to address. So we filled. I say we. I have to give credit to Mike. I didn't do this part of it. Mike did it for me. I don't even know what product he used. I wish I would have interviewed him when he was here, but I didn't. But I know it's something proper for this application. And smoothed it all out. Basically sanded the bottom of the boat right up to, you can see the masking line there. And like I say, filled any holes. One thing that was interesting too here, this strake here was about 3/16 lower than the other side, and it had a real slope back. So he straightened that up, and then just went ahead and sharpened all edges. And basically that's about it. I'm going to finish sanding this out here now and prime it, and or get a coat of primer on it, and then from there we'll 600 it. So. So I'm using a product here from Omni. It's just like an automotive-based 2-part primer. I'm going to mix a little reducer in. I think hopefully just let it flow out a little bit. We're actually rolling it on for a couple of reasons. One, I think I can lay it on heavier per coat. And second of all, we're water sanding it out anyways, so it just reduces any overspray or whatnot in the shop and that sort of thing. So I think that's going to work out really good. So I sanded it out, and it really was really orange peely kind of, and there was a few runs and stuff like that, and I hit it with some like 220, make the edge off. All the lines are straight, everything's really good that way. I'm super happy with that. So, but I just kind of knocked the sheen off of it, and so I'm gonna try. Just gonna mix up the stuff here now. I'm gonna try a bit more reducer in the primer. I think it might help it kind of lay out a little bit, and there's lots on there. It's not a problem. I'm going to be able to sand it out, I'm sure. But anyways, yeah, I'm really happy with the edges, the lines, how straight it is. The hooks are completely gone. So now it's just a matter of getting the finish that we want and buff the rest of the gel. It's pretty amazing, actually, 30-year-old gel coat. But we're going to buff this part out and then flip the boat back over and start going at the floor. So the second coat went so much better than the first. I put all that extra reducer in, much more than what they called for, but it really laid out a whole lot better, and I'm super, super happy with that. So I'm going to, tomorrow I'm going to let it harden up, and I'll water sand out to the 600. And I think, you know, if we have to put a third coat on and then sand it out again, then that's fine. But I'm just, Mikey did such a bang up job. Like, these edges are like razor sharp, dead straight. Just awesome. Super, super happy. So anyways, that's, and we'll leave it at that finish. It'll just be that sort of gray primer finish there. And yeah, man, super, super happy. Hey guys, so man, I'm exhausted. The last 2 days, I probably put 20 hours in here laying this primer on and water sanding it out and getting it to this point. So I can really see why a lot of people don't really want to go to the step. You know, between what Mikey's done and what I did, there's probably 40 hours just to clean up a couple flaws that may or may not even enhance the performance. But I'll know that it's done, and that sits well with me. I don't like to leave stuff like that unturned. So super happy with the finish. I had actually water sanded it out to the 600, and I wasn't really happy. I felt that it was a little smoother than what it should have been, and maybe wouldn't provide the separation that I was looking for. So I did go back in and actually coarsened it up a little bit. I just worked hard to get the trailing edges blended really good, or I'm sorry, the leading edges blended, and provide the finish that I was looking for. At the back, I did go back. I'd kind of been sanding, kind of knocked the corners down on the corner of the pad and the strakes there a little bit, and I want those trailing edges super sharp. So I built those up with some compound here now. I'll come back out tonight and I'll sand that out and dust in the prime and then give it another quick scuff, and it's pretty much done. I did go ahead and compounded and buffed and waxed the gel coat, the original gel, and I'm really happy with the way that came out. This boat's amazing shape for, you know, being a 30-year-old piece. So anyways, guys, I'm exhausted. I'm gonna go try and put this video together and get it out there. Got some cool feedback from some people on what we had done just by a video that I posted yesterday, you know, and some great ideas. And I mean, everybody has a little different theory. I'd like to adopt them all, but you know, I can't, of course, right? So we came up with what we thought would work best, and that's what we did, right or wrong. So anyways, appreciate it. Thanks for following along. Make sure you continue to. We're going to get this boat flipped over this week, and then Mikey's going to come back and cut the floor out. We've got that carbon, one-off carbon STV fairing that I had built for it, and it's pretty much wrapped up. The boys over at Parks Composites, that's going to be super cool. Dudes fasten in, super quick access to the trim pumps and that sort of thing. So, but that stuff's for another video. So anyways, guys, thanks. Appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe, and you know, share, and send your friends over to check it out, and hope you guys like what we're doing. Thanks. Bye.